Hello children, welcome to the second part of my chapter which seems to be the body fluid and circulation. Today in this class I am going to explain to you about the open type and closed type of circulatory system. Okay. So in this class I would be emphasizing more on the evolutionary trends of the heart. Okay. Evolution. In the primitive characteristics, what are the primitive characteristics, what are the modern characteristics, how the heart has been modified, these all things which we would be dealing in this section. Okay. So as you can see, there is open type and closed type of circulatory system. So first of all you must know that the open type of circulatory system is the primitive one. It is the primitive circulatory system, while the closed circulatory system, this is the advanced feature. Advanced. In the open type of circulatory system, it is found in the lower invertebrates. Lower invertebrates. What do you mean by the term invertebrates? The organisms which lack notochord. Okay. They are known as invertebrates. You might have heard about the word poriferans, molluscans, right? So they have open type of circulatory system. Okay. Now what happens in the open type of circulatory system? In lower vertebrates, actually the blood is not present. The actual blood is not present. In place of blood, there is a fluid known as hemocoelom, which is present. Okay, all the organs are directly bathed into this hemocoelom. See, I'll draw a diagram and show you. Likewise, these are organs. Assume it, these are organs, smaller. Okay, and the hemocoelom is all around them. Okay, so this is the fluid which fills the coelomic cavity. Okay, so these are the organs and this is the coelomic fluid. Okay, these are the organs and this is the coelomic fluid which is present over here. So you can see that these organs are directly in contact with the hemocoelom or the coelomic fluid, and the gaseous exchange directly takes place through them. So this type of open type of circulatory system, it is primitive and it is found in the lower invertebrates. Okay. While in the closed type of circulatory system, which happens to be the advanced type of circulatory system, what happens over here, that the blood is pumped through specialized vessels. You very well know the name of the vessels. These are arteries and veins. Okay. At this point, I would like to clear a point to you people, which you might encounter it in the various other concepts. See, how does this closed type of circulatory system and these vessels provide blood and oxygen to the organ at the organ level? See what happens. A word which is known as anastomosis. This is the word which is known as anastomosis. Now what does the word anastomosis means? Like, see, this is an artery. Okay, when this artery divides, it becomes arteriole. Okay, now such arterioles further redivide into it is further subdividing into capillaries. Okay, so this was an artery, this is an arteriole, and this happens to be capillaries. this happens to be capillaries. Okay. Now here is the organ. Okay. So remember this thing that capillaries are unicellular. Okay. And the gaseous exchange will always take at the tissue level, at the cellular level, between cell to cell and tissue to tissue, not from directly from organ to cell. So these arteries are divided and subdivided into single celled capillaries which provide oxygen to the cells of this organ. See, like this. These are the cells of the organism, and these capillaries are single celled. They will provide oxygen directly to the cells of the organs. Now they have to take back the carbon dioxide which is produced as a metabolite. So again these capillaries tend to unite and reunite to form a larger vessel known as vein. See now how does this happen? These things will reunite beta. They will reunite to form a thicker vessel. Okay. Now this would be known as vein. These are venules. So there happens to be a meshwork of capillaries and venules to provide oxygen to a particular organ. Okay. So first of all they divide and redivide, and then they unite and reunite to form a vein which will carry the deoxygenated blood away from the organ. Okay. So this is a key characteristic of a closed type of circulatory system. Okay. Then the second trend which I am going to explain to you about the evolutionary trend, as I was telling you in the previous time, is chambers of the heart. Chambers of the heart. Now what do you mean by the chambers of the heart, and how is it concerned with the evolution? So you find that most primitive heart is found in fishes. Fish's heart is venous heart beta. Venous heart, it is also known as tubular heart. Most primitive heart is found in fishes, and it is the venous heart or the tubular heart. Now what you might be knowing ki, what do you mean by the term just like tubular heart? What does that do? See what happens, there is a single circuit circulation system over here. It is a single circuit circulatory system in which this is the body. Okay, this is the body. Body gives out the deoxygenated blood to the gills, to the heart. Okay, the deoxygenated blood from the body is produced into the heart. Now heart directly pumps it to the gills for purification, and gills in turn pass it on to the body. So you can see over here that heart is only receiving the deoxygenated blood. No oxygenation is going to take place over here in the heart. Okay, so body to heart, and from heart it is going to gills, and this gills is providing the oxygenated blood. okay, to the body. So such type of single circuit circulation is found in the fishes. Okay. Now as we progress into the story of evolution, after fishes came the amphibians. Okay. After fishes came the amphibians. Now these amphibians have three-chambered heart. Okay, what do you mean by the word three-chambered heart? Three-chambered means the three-chamber means the auricle is divided into two parts, but the ventricle seems to be undivided. Okay, the auricle, both the auricles are divided. So this is going to receive the deoxygenated blood from the body. From the body, it is going to receive deoxygenated blood. Okay, and from lungs, this part is going to receive oxygenated blood. But eventually as the blood passes over here, because this thing is also receiving the deoxygenated blood, there is a mixing of blood. Where? In the ventricles. So in the three-chambered heart system, you can see that the body is giving the deoxygenated blood into this auricle. From auricle, it is going into the ventricles. From ventricles, again it is going into the lungs. From lungs, this oxygenated blood is coming into the left auricle. And when this left auricle is pumping the blood into this ventricle, there is a mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. This is very important concept while considering the venous heart and arteriovenous heart. This is very important. Okay, for the people who haven't understood it for the first time, again I am going to explain. Listen to it very carefully. What happens in fishes? The body is pumping the deoxygenated blood into the heart. Okay, so heart is receiving only deoxygenated blood. What is this heart going to do? This heart is pumping that blood into the gills. Okay, now what happens in the gills? By fishes respire through gills, na? So these gills are purifying this deoxygenated blood and it is becoming oxygenated blood, which is supplied to the body. So body is receiving the oxygenated blood. This is a single circuit system in which the heart is only receiving the deoxygenated blood. Okay, but in case of three-chambered heart, as in case of amphibians, you can see that the heart is divided into 1, 2 and 3 chambers. There is no demarcation between the ventricles. Okay, so the body is providing the deoxygenated blood to the first chamber. The first chamber is pushing the blood into this lower chamber, okay, which happens to be ventricle, and it is not divided. Okay, now what is this ventricle going to do? It is pushing the blood into the lungs. In the lungs, the purification is happening. By amphibians can breathe through lungs because they live on land as well as in water, na? So when this thing is going to the lungs, it is getting purified, and this purified blood is coming to the chamber number 2. Now this chamber number 2 is receiving the oxygenated blood. Now it is pushing the blood again into this ventricle. Now as I have previously told you, there is no demarcation between left and right ventricle. Right? This thing first was pushing the deoxygenated blood over here, so there is amount of deoxygenated blood already present over here. Okay, now this second chamber is pushing the oxygenated blood over here. So there is a mixing of blood, of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the ventricles of the amphibians. Okay, that's why these amphibians have more than one way of respiring. It is not just the lungs through which they respire, they have two more ways through which these amphibians respire. That is cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration, number one, it is respiration through skin, and the second is branchial respiration. Branchial respiration. Okay, so there are three ways in which the amphibians respire, just to compensate the amount of deoxygenation in their heart, that is through lungs, through cutaneous respiration, and through branchial respiration. There are three ways in which they respire. Okay, so this is all about the evolution of the heart and how does the primitive organisms used to breathe and what modification did they come. Now in the modern heart, in the heart which we have, what happens? If this ventricle is also subdivided into two parts. So we have four chambered heart. So from two chambered heart to three chambered heart, and then to four chambered heart. This is the evolution and the evolutionary trend of the heart. Okay. In the next chapter, I would be dealing with the structures in detail which comprises the heart and the covering of the heart. Thank you.